Hello and welcome back. Today I would like to discuss cell reference options, which is how you refer to a cell address or location in your formula. Understanding your options for cell references is the key to accuracy and success in your calculation. Today we will discuss three types of cell reference options, including relative, absolute, and mixed cell referencing. Before we dive into the lesson, I would like to review our cell referencing information. Number one is relative. A relative cell reference will change if it is copied and pasted into a new location of the worksheet. An absolute cell reference means that the reference will not change regardless to where it is placed in the worksheet. And a mixed cell reference occurs when we use both relative and absolute together. So far during this series, we have worked with relative cell changes. This is what you have seen when we copy and paste to a cell or doing an autofill. Now with the absolute value, the cell location does not change. We may have A1 plus A2, but the next cell will become B1 plus A2, and the third cell, as indicated here, will become C1 plus A2. Now we put the $ in front of the column and in front of the row to indicate we do not want the cell row or the cell column to change. Now as we look at the mixed value, you will see a $ only in front of the column. This is indicating that we do not want the column to change, but the row can change. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at our lesson so we can solidify this understanding. So here we are on our spreadsheet, and we're going to base our exercise based on the inventory displayed. Today's exercise will cover relative, absolute, and mixed cell referencing. Okay, so I would like to begin by reviewing our relative referencing. Let's place our cursor inside of cell G19. And what I want to do is calculate the total for the first through the fourth quarter. I'm going to do this by grabbing the Autosum. Let's go to the Home tab. Let's go to the Autosum group and let's get sum. Okay, so now as you can see, it's calculating based on the highlighted cells, which is correct. Let's go ahead and say enter. Now let's go ahead and select G19 again and let's look at our formula. So this is confirming that it's calculating cell C19 through F19. Now if I want to copy and paste this cell down, I'll say copy, then I'll select cell G20 and I'll say paste. Then I'll go ahead and select cell G21 and I'll say paste again. Now, I want to go ahead and click inside of cell G20 and I want to take a look at the formula. So as you can see, it is basing the calculations on row 20 instead of row 19 as we did earlier. So this is an example of relative calculations. Let's go down to G21 and look at our formula. Again, it's calculating based on row 21. Okay, so that is your example of relative referencing. Our next exercise will be based on absolute referencing. I would like to get the percentage of each expense. Let's begin by getting the total of all of our expenses. Let's place our mouse inside of cell G22. Let's go to the Autosum and let's go ahead and say enter. Okay, so look like our total expense is $3,491. Okay, so next we need to know what percentage each item represents of the overall total. Okay, so let's look at our formula inside of cell H20. And as you can see, it says equal G19, which is the total for office supplies, divided by G22, which is the overall total. Now, if you look at the formula closely, you will see a $ in front of the G and a $ in front of the number 22. This is telling Excel that this reference should not change when I copy this formula down because the overall percentage will be based on cell G22. So let's go ahead and copy H19. Let's do a right-click copy. Let's place our mouse inside of H20 and do a right-click and say paste. Okay, now as you can see, it reflects 9%. So if we look at the formula, it is saying equal G20, which is $299, divided by G22, again, which is the total amount of the overall expense. We are telling Excel that we do not want the back reference to change. So that does not change because we put the dollar sign in front of the G and a dollar sign in front of the 22. So although the front cell reference did change, the back cell reference remained the same. So let's go ahead and do another right click and say paste to complete our exercise. Okay, so as you can see, it reflects 66%. Let's go ahead and click inside of it. And again, it says G21 divided by G22. Again, G22 does not change because this is the number we want to remain constant when we are doing our calculation. Okay, and so that is an example of using an absolute value. Our final exercise will be based on a mixed cell reference. For our final exercise, we would like to get a quarterly percentage for each item. We'll be using a mixed reference to get this value. Okay, so now let's begin by placing our mouse inside of J19. Okay, so let's go ahead and place an equal sign. Next, we're going to go ahead and select cell C19. And we're going to go ahead and divide it by G19. Now let's go ahead and turn this into a percentage. Now what we want to do next is copy the formula over, but we want the cell column to remain constant. We want to make the cell column absolute. So we're going to do that by placing the dollar sign in front of the G. Okay, now that we have done that, let's go ahead and drag the cell over. And as you can see, it calculates the percentages based on cell G19. Now the row can change, but the column will remain the same. So next I want to go ahead and copy this formula down. Let's go ahead and get our black cross, and let's go ahead and drag it all the way down. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our formula. Let's look at our coffee supplies for the first quarter. And as you can see, when we look at the formula, it says equals C20 divided by G20. So again, the column does not change, although the row did. All right, let's look at the third quarter. And so again, the G20 is absolute, although the row number did change. Let's look at the printing orders. And this again has changed to row 21, although the column has not changed. Okay? All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this lesson. I hope you found this information helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Congratulations! You are doing an awesome job on moving through the videos. Go ahead and take a break. You certainly do deserve it, and we will see you in the next video.